Well, we're the GaZcast, but like it's just Gabe and Zach on a cast. We just like a cast of characters.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing fucking great. Trying to get over all those shots from last night. I gotta recover a little bit.
Dude, how many shots did you take?
Okay, let's think about this. All right. So we had beginning of a night, we had 2 lemon drops. Then I had a crown apple. Then I had another lemon drop and a Vegas bomb. So five shots to go along with. I don't even know the amount of drinks I had, but those 5 shots, yeah, it hurt.
I feel you. Whenever we went to the Mexican restaurant, I guess yesterday was
Hey, happy birthday to Gabe. Everyone shout this man out. This man's going through his Jordan year. Man hit it. And happy fucking birthday, man.
That 2-3, baby. I appreciate it. Yeah. So this last week was my birthday, and I was celebrating my graduation. I graduated a year ago. Crazy how fast time flies by, but I couldn't, walk because of Corona. So finally got my opportunity to, and that was fun. And then the day after was fun, which was my birthday, but I couldn't celebrate until the weekend. So Saturday comes, I wake up, get some stuff done, have me some food. Me, my friend Hunter Cubits, and Luis, we go out and shoot guns at a gun range. That was sweet. Shooting somebody from 5 feet away, or not someone, but a target. Excuse me. I'm not shooting anybody. Hopefully, I don't.
Hold the fuck up.
No, hitting a target from 5 feet away, easy peasy lemon squeezy. From 10, bro, yep. It gets a little hard, man.
What kind of guns were y'all using?
My buddy, he has a Glock. He got a Glock 40, maybe. I can't really remember. One of the Glocks. So his is like a bang, bang, bang. And mine, I have a little 22, a Caltech 17, I believe is the name. It's like a 22. And mine goes pew, pew. So it was fun shooting those 2 things. One thing I don't like about my gun, it literally smokes. I'm shooting it, and it's like a firecracker. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know about this.
That would probably smell weird when it goes off a bunch.
Yeah, but it gets the job done. So there it is.
Apparently, you're shooting people from 5 feet away. So at that point, anything should get the job done.
This is true, and I think we pushed it all the way to the back. Forget about it. We dang near not even hitting the target. But yeah, so that was fun. And then we ended up going to Happy Mexican. That joint was packed. So we went to Casa Mexicana. Shout out to that place because it wasn't as packed. And we got a table immediately, got some chips and salsa, got some margaritas. Boy Hunter got some pictures. It was a good night, man. It was a good night. I probably drank at least a pitcher of the margaritas because we got 2 pitchers and we were splitting it, but I probably drank a pitcher. Yeah, I was good and messed up. Good thing I wasn't driving.
The second I saw you last night, I was like, all right, yeah, this man has been hitting it. I was like, whoa, okay, Big Gabe.
Yeah, man. I got dressed up in my suit and we went downtown, had to suit up.
This man casual. I'm talking, he was wearing a t-shirt, some shorts, just being cool with it. We 5 minutes away from leaving. He's like, hold up. I gotta go to the bathroom. I might change. Man walks out in a burgundy suit. Man suited up with a Tabasco fucking hot sauce tie on. This man came in there cool as hell. Damn, I'm getting a call. I gotta decline this. I'm on the phone, doing a pod.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a fantastic night, man. Going to Tin Roof, I was in that long ass line, but my boy Austin came and got me, and we snuck right on in. So it was a good time. And of course, had the trusty strawberry before we walked in. So yeah, it was wild. I had my graduation hat on, so I got a whole bunch of congratulations from people. Yeah, it was a good night, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but enough about me. On to these sports, the deportes. The Lakers. Y'all find yourselves a little lower than you thought you'd be, eh?
Hey, I will say there has been a little bit of a struggle. We haven't had half our players. I mean, take away like 3/4 of a team, like we gonna suck, and it's been bad. But if we get healthy, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at this point. It's not about who you face in the first night. I was looking at it. I mean, as a 6 seed, you're playing the Clippers, and as an 8 seed, you're playing the Jazz. So like, is it really worse to slip? Like, I don't really think so. But obviously, we want to get in a rhythm, and we just want to be as high as we can. But yeah, right now it's not it. Besides tonight.
No, it is not. Yeah, no. Tonight, 123-110 win over Phoenix. Anthony Davis had like 22 first half. Let's see,
Yeah.
what did he finish
He
with?
ended up with
Finished with
42, 12,
42.
and
Sheesh.
42, 12, and 5, 3 blocks, 3 steals. Yeah, no,
Golly.
he was balling. My buddy Isaac texted me and said, like, what percent chance do the Lakers have tonight? I said, maybe 10. I said, if we win, it's got to be AD dropping 50. And I guess I mean he almost got there, and
Yeah, you're 8 points
like
away.
he was balling, and he's last 2 nights, and he had 30, 36, and 42 in his last 2 games. He seems to be back in rhythm, which is like the most important. The most important thing is AD healthy and like back to where he should be. Is LeBron healthy and back to where he should be, and then everything else will fall into place. So we look like we have one half of that right now.
Indeed. LeBron, I did not think that ankle injury. I think that he suffered it against the Hawks that they were playing like a few weeks ago. I don't believe it was a month ago yet, but I didn't think
Oh,
that
are you
was
talking about his first injury?
his high ankle sprain.
No, that he set out for a high ankle sprain. He set out for like 7 weeks, six,
Yeah.
7 weeks. And then he came back and he played in that Sacramento game. And he wasn't great. We lost kind of because of him. And then in his second game back, he apparently tweaked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
He airballed a shot, and then we were down like 8 with like 6 minutes left. We just didn't see him again. Like I don't think it was that bad. I thought it was more precautionary, but apparently he just kind of tweaked. I mean, you twist your ankle, like you hurt your ankle, then like the next 5 times you hoop, you're just sitting there like, all right, I just don't want to land anywhere where it just turns slightly. I think he's being precautious about it, but I mean, obviously his ankle is nowhere near 100%. So it's something to see about. Cause I don't know. Like if we don't have Braun, like we're not winning a championship.
Yeah, no, if y'all don't have Bron, then I mean you might make it a round or so, but definitely not championship aspirations, which is what you are seeking to do. But same thing with AD. Even though AD was going off tonight, dude, he was going down. He was like limping, getting up and whatnot, just laboring down the court. It was kind of scary. I thought at one point he got hurt.
Here's the thing. That's what AD does. Like from when I first started watching him, and I was like, all right, like maybe he's like just like a little soft. Maybe he is a little soft, but he just gets nicked up. It just nick here, nick here, nick here. He falls weird. He's just so damn big. Like he's basically 7 foot tall. He's like broad shouldered, big legs, and he's a big. So it's not like he moves kind of like a guard, but like when he falls, he doesn't fall like he's a guard. He falls very just kind of clumsily, and he hits the ground sometimes. And I'm just like, I just hope he gets back up. Like every time he falls, I'm like, all right, is AD gonna make it down the court? Is AD gonna make? I don't care what happens on the other side. I'm like, is he gonna make it back down the court?
Right.
It's always something to think about. But I mean, we just gotta hope and pray.
Yeah, I think that if y'all are healthy, then it's not too much that many teams can do with you. I mean, we'll talk more about this. We're gonna have a special guest on later in the week, one of my buddies who is a Laker fan. But yeah, I don't think that there's much many teams can do other than I think that the Nets can give y'all a run for your money. I mean, of course, there is a road in which y'all can lose, even with a healthy team. But I think with health, you guys should be the favorite. You guys should be able to match up with anybody. Your defense is legit, and you got two unstoppable offensive pieces.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we can talk about our offense, and our offense is going to be great in the playoffs because playoff basketball is just half court, and we're gonna have like the two of the five best half court guys in the league on the same team with other guys around them. But our defense, we didn't beat the Suns tonight because AD scored every time and he had 20 assists and everything went right for the Lakers. No, like our like top two other guys were like Caruso and like KCP, and they didn't go crazy. It's our defense. Devin Booker, he struggled. I mean, clearly struggled. Chris Paul didn't go crazy. Like, no one on the team really went crazy. Aiden was terrible tonight. Like, we have the ability to stop anybody, and if we don't stop them, we just take role players out their game or take a star out of his game, and it's just kind of what we do, and that's how you win in the playoffs. Like, we did it all last year. Jamal Murray was insane. He was insane in the playoffs, and we play him, and yeah, there was 2 or 3 games where you're like, okay, we can't guard him, but it wasn't all 7. Jokic, same thing. Like, we just threw Dwight Howard at him, and just like eventually he has an off 6-7 minutes, and that's when you take advantage of it. And we just like we're able to do that to everybody. I don't know if we could do that to Nets. Like, I'm sure we'll throw some stuff off, but like, I mean, actually affecting James Harden and KD are hard. But hey, Kyrie might struggle. Like, there's going to be moments where we make a superstar struggle.
Yeah, right on. Dude, did you watch any of the Knicks Clippers game?
Not at all, but I saw that the Knicks beat the Clippers, and the Clippers are fighting for something. And Randall didn't go crazy. He had a couple shots late, but hey, I mean, I'm all for it. If Julius Randle can beat the Clippers, makes me happy. Makes me fucking happy.
Yeah, no, Julius Randle, yeah, like, I guess a pedestrian game to his standard so far this year.
Probably a below average game for his standards this year.
Indeed. D Rose, he went off for 25. Shout out to Rose. Of course, we're always on that wagon. Yes, sir. But yeah, no, like another game where young Paul George gets a shot drilled in his face for game. And you know what? People always ask, like, why is it always Paul George either missing the shot or getting the shot on him? I think that we disrespect Paul George. And some of it is warranted because last year that man was absolutely hot garbage. He was not good in any round consistently. He had a couple games here, a couple games there. Consistently wasn't great. They almost lost to the Mavericks. I think the Mavs took them to 6 games.
Yeah.
Luka was getting off. If Porzingis didn't get hurt, then that could have been different.
Not even that. If Porzingis doesn't get thrown out of the game in like game 2 or whatever it is, like,
yeah,
it's a whole new series. And like you said, PG, Kawhi, both of them are getting worked by Luka. So,
no, facts. But my thing is with Paul George, I've seen him hit big shots, man. It just so happens that he has the luck that people hit big shots after his shot. So it's just not the last one and they lose. Or he's guarding the guy who is the best player and they just hit shots over him.
That's the thing. Okay, so a guy hitting a shot over you, in almost every case, it's not on you. Like, someone hitting a shot on you in NBA, an NBA superstar hitting a shot over another NBA player. It doesn't matter. Offense beats defense. It doesn't matter. I don't care how great you are at defense. Paul George he's probably like top 5% of like wing defenders. But like Dame hitting a step back 40-footer, that's not on him. Like that has nothing to do with how he's playing. That's just Dame would have hit that shot on anyone in the league. And maybe he gets some of that because he came out and said, "Oh yeah, that was a bad shot by Dame." Like, there's not a shot in the gym that's a bad shot for Dame. So don't say that.
Right.
But like, yeah, playing defense in the NBA is the most impossible thing. If you can like say, hey, as a defender, I'm gonna make this guy shoot like 2% worse than he usually does. You did a great job. If you had any effect on someone making a pull-up jumper, that's awesome. Like that's on you. But otherwise, come on. Like there's
Yeah.
guys that are bad defenders, but Paul George is not anywhere near that.
Yeah, no, that's not him. He's definitely not that guy. How do you feel about some of these current play-in matchups? So we got the Lakers, they would play the Warriors, and then the Grizzlies will play the Spurs. If we got to see some type of, if the Trailblazers drop and we got to see a Trailblazers Grizzlies matchup, which I think that is possible, who do you think would take that? Because both of those teams have their weaknesses.
Trailblazers, Grizzlies, not Trailblazers, Warriors.
Yeah, no, if it was Trailblazers or Grizzlies.
Well, if you remember, we saw that last year.
Yes, we
year.
did.
And
the rematch.
Dame was insane. He was elite of elite of elite. And I have a hard time saying in a scenario where it's not like Damian Lillard versus like LeBron James, like besides something like that, I think you just got to go with Dame. Like it's like it's one of those moments where it's like it's not the championship on the line, but like anything below that, I'm like, all right, yeah, like no one's beating Dame in that game. Like, come on, like that's not happening. I would take Dame in that game versus Harden. So if I do it over Ja, yeah, come on, that's Dame all day.
Dude, but I feel like the Grizzlies are a good young up and coming team. I think that they play hard defense. They can hit shots from the perimeter with
man,
Dillon
Brooks.
Yeah, Dillon
Grayson
Brooks.
Allen.
No, what is the guy? He's a rookie this year. Got a chopper.
You talking about Bane?
Bane, Desmond Bane. That's whose name I was thinking of. Yeah, so they can hit shots from the outside. Ja, his 3-point kind of went down this year, but he can still hit the shots. And then they can make shots on the inside. Ja seems like an excellent leader on the court. They got Valanciunas on the inside, so they can hit shots from everywhere. They play hard. I mean, it seems like Memphis is a grit and grind team no matter what. No matter who we get, we're going to grit, we going to grind.
Yeah.
So their ability to defend as well as score versus Portland's ability to score is different. Portland's on a different level, but their ability to defend, they don't have an ability to defend. It doesn't exist.
It's also on a different level. It's just on the whole other trajectory. Okay, so I'm with you if that had been 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, the Grizzlies were peaking and everything was going right. And it looked like they were that team where it's just every night they're going to give it their all and they're going to compete with whoever they're playing. They brought back Jaren Jackson, and kind of ever since then, they just haven't been clicking as much. Ja had a crazy stretch where he's hitting jumpers, going berserk. And he's kind of cooled off. And then Valanciunas and Jaren Jackson, they're all kind of figuring out how to play together again. Grayson Allen got hurt, missed a couple games. He's back, and they were playing Justice Winslow as the backup point. I don't know. Just things haven't been going right in the last 2 weeks for me to say that. But like a couple weeks ago, they were going at it, and I probably would have said Grizzlies win. But at this point, if anything goes wrong for the Grizzlies, I just don't think it's going to end up going good for
them. Yeah. I get we got about 4 games left in the season. So it's hard to just look at the seeding right now and deciding on, who's playing who, because so much could change. But
hey,
what would be some crazy matchups you want to see?
I do want to say something first, because
go for
the Pelicans. The Pelicans won tonight without Brandon Ingram or Zion. I don't know Zion's status or Brandon's status. I think they're like,
I can tell you Zion. I think that he's done for the year. I believe that he's done for the year. I think he broke his finger or something like that.
Okay. So are they a game? Are they a game and a half back, or are they 2 back from the Spurs?
They are, I believe, a game and a half. Yeah.
like they might sneak in. I'm not 100%. If Brandon Ingram can get back and maybe Zion can get back for the play-in possibly, I don't know. But like something to look out for because we saw this like last year. The Spurs really weren't interested in making the playoffs to do nothing last year. They were like, we'll just let another team in. It's just something to think about. Matchups I want to see. As a Lakers fan, I really don't want to see this. But I mean, if the Lakers and Clippers find a way to play first round, that's fucking gold. If the Suns and the Lakers play each other, that's gold. I mean, people forget this. The Lakers and Suns have had so many playoff matchups that have been just elite. Like the Kobe hitting the shot over the game winner, the Kobe like letting the Steve Nash led Suns come back 3-1 when they said, "Hey, you're shooting too much," and he just didn't shoot anymore. Like there's been a lot of shit going down between those two franchises. The Suns have kind of been in the dirt for a minute, but they're back. I want to see that. And then I'm trying to think of like, dude, like the Warriors. Like if the Warriors just somehow get in,
Ooh.
Warriors and Jazz, maybe, and then Luka. Whoever the Mavs play first round, the other team's going to be favored, but we saw what Luka did to that Clippers team, and dude, anything is possible. The East, I don't even care about first round matchups. I'm just being honest. I'm like the 1 seed's gonna win, the 2 seed's gonna win, the 3 seed's gonna win, and then if the Knicks are the 4 seed, I think they're gonna win. So like I don't know. I'm just not that in. I mean, I am hyped for the second round, but first round,
I feel that. I mean, going over to the East, yes, the Sixers should win, the Nets should win, the Bucks should win. Now below that, so the Heat are tied with the Hawks right now. The Hawks, I guess, have the tiebreaker. But if that changes, Knicks versus Heat, I think that'd be a tough matchup for one of them. I mean, the Heat were the reigning Eastern Conference champions. Them going out to a Knicks team that can't play offense, plays immaculate defense, obviously. And then they got people that can score, but their half-court offense is definitely not tops in the league. Who would you say is the best player in that series? Would you go with a Jimmy Butler, who can control the game in so many ways? He's one of the most efficient players in the league, and he doesn't even have a three-point shot. Or a Julius Randle, who's having just a crazy breakout season.
You're getting that's tough. And then I'd even throw Bam in there too.
Bam, yeah. Mm-hmm.
God, Jimmy, Bam, or Julius. I'm gonna go with Julius Randle, like just as the best player, as a Lakers fan, and just like I've watched Julius Randle play more than anyone, but it's tough. But I don't know. I think Bam has an argument for being better than Jimmy, just on like his ability to defend damn near everyone and his ability to play make. Where Jimmy obviously can do some of that stuff too, but just being 6'11" versus being 6'4", 6'5", like it just has an impact on it. But yeah, that is a series where I think the Heat would win. I really do. I'm saying the Knicks would beat the Hawks if that happens. If anything else happens, I think you just got to go with the other team. And yeah, I mean the Heat. What were the Heat? The Heat were a 6 seed last year, and they beat the Bucks.
I believe so.
They were not a 6 seed. They were a 5 seed. They were a 5 seed.
They were low. Yeah,
they were a 5 seed. They beat the Pacers, and then they played the Bucks and beat them. Yeah, so they did this. Like I think me and you both were like, hey, the Heat. We both projected the Heat weren't going to be that top 3 seed that everyone thought they were going to be after going to the finals, but that doesn't mean we didn't think they were going to have a chance in the playoffs. Like they are built for the playoffs. They've already done this. They've already showed that the number 1 team couldn't beat them last year. So he can make a run.
Right. Dude, depending on the play-in.
And fuck the Celtics. They fuck. they had like they came out with no energy tonight. Literally no energy. Like I'm just like, dude, is Brad Stevens gonna get fired? Is he?
Dude, is it Brad Stevens' fault? Is it
I don't
Danny
know.
Ainge's fault? I think that those two guys, it's crazy how you can be so successful in a way, like do so many good things, but it's just not enough. So then do you change from that? Because Danny Ainge, I mean, let's think about this. This is probably the most successful rebuild of a team like ever.
Yeah.
These folks were a 1 seed and they got the number 1 pick in the draft. They didn't tank. They didn't tank to rebuild their team. They get 2 fantastic players in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They trade away a guy who was playing pretty good for them in the playoffs and ended up getting one of the best guards in the East at the time, Kemba Walker. They just weren't able to find a center, like a big man, but the league is kind of moving away from big men, but still you need a big body on the inside. And then Brad Stevens is supposed to be this brainchild who does great things, is very, very intelligent as a coach on the side, but they just can't seem to get it done. And them just not getting it done is making the Eastern Conference Finals at least twice. They made it twice.
Yeah. And they're a game away twice.
Yeah, twice.
So it's just it's hard. Like I don't think I would have the guts to fire Brad Stevens this year. But like it's one of those situations. Didn't was it Dwayne Casey? Dwayne Casey got fired. And he was were they a 1 seed or a 2 seed?
They were probably the 1 seed, but they just lost the Braun like 3 out of 4 years, I believe.
Yeah. So Dwayne Casey, I'm pretty sure he had the best record in the East, and he lost to the best player in the league, and he got fired. So anything is on the table. Now, if someone fires Brad Stevens, he will get a job 14 seconds later. So that is something where you have to say, hey, do we want our coach coaching against us like right away? But something's got to change. I don't know if it's strictly personnel. Is it coaching? Is it scheme? Like whatever it is, something's got to shift because they have too much talent to not be great, but also they have too much young talent to like just to waste these years.
How do you feel about obviously, now listen, hear me out. Because I think that this switch would be better, not the one that I'm about to say. You'll understand what I'm about to say once I say it. But these 2 teams, they're not getting rid of their marquee guys. So Tatum for the Celtics and Dame for Portland. Obviously, them 2 would be better, but a trade for Jaylen Brown and CJ McCollum. Does that make the other teams better?
Trading Jaylen Brown for CJ McCollum?
Yeah. How do you feel about that on the Celtics side, and then how you feel about that for Portland?
I think that would be amazing for Portland. I think that would really help Portland. I think that is like you're able to have a more ball movement guy on offense. So it could hurt your offense like 1%, like half the time, but then other times it might actually benefit you. But you have a guy who plays fucking really hard and he's great at defense. I would like that move for Portland. But I do think CJ can score the ball better than Jaylen Brown, but I don't think it helps Celtics. Like I think like in a vacuum, I'd say, hey, maybe I want CJ, but with Tatum, I mean that's just they're like the same dude, just different sizes. So like I don't know if you want that. You're already. What I think's wrong with them is just the fact that it's 2 wings. And yes, CJ's like a guard, but he's still a wing. So I just don't think it changes the dynamic.
You don't think that the fact that Tatum and Brown, they don't really help each other. I affectionately call them, I guess they would be the lesser version of Kawhi and Paul George, just 2 guys that are absolute stud ballers, but they don't really help each other on offense. I think that CJ his game might complement Tatum's game a little bit more. Yes, you would get it lesser end on the defense, but the Kemba. All right, we look at the Celtics. They got Kemba Walker as the point guard. He's not playing great. That I think that would alleviate all that because CJ he can dish the ball out, and obviously the man is magical with the handle, breaking people down, getting it would get some ball moving on offense. And then Marcus Smart, he would be the defending wing on that team. So obviously, it doesn't really address the big man part of it, but I think that it would maybe help the team run more smoothly at least.
Maybe I like, dude, I don't know. I'm not a Kimba guy. I'm really not. And I wasn't even thinking about Kimba, but I can't imagine Kimba Walker and CJ McCollum on the same court because they would just be taking some crazy ass shots and Tatum would just not be getting the ball. I don't believe Tatum will get the ball enough. And as much as I say Jaylen Brown, he's good. He's really good. He's a willing passer. Like he's not dishing it. Maybe I think CJ has better skills passing the basketball, but sometimes he's just such a good scorer that he doesn't pass it. Brown's more willing. So I just where I think Tatum would make CJ look amazing. I really do. I think CJ would have a boost in shots, boost in points, boost in everything. But I don't think it helps Tatum, and I think that's more of the issue. Like I think your other guys should go to help Tatum more. So I don't know. But hey, if you could trade Kimba for a CJ, obviously that's not like even, but like you figure something out to get Kimba out of there and get CJ in there, I'm more in on that. Because then you would just be dining. Like you would be like your offense would be better than the Trailblazers right now. And it would be just to a point where it's just like some Brooklyn Nets type shit on offense.
Yeah, no, that'd be super duper cold. Brown, Tatum, and McCollum. Whew.
Yeah.
That'd be some heat.
That is, but I mean, obviously the one that would make the most sense that's never gonna happen is just somehow get Tatum on the court with Dame.
Oh my God.
And like, hey, you wanted KD to come there. I'm not saying Tatum's KD, but that's a nice downgrade right there. That's a nice one.
Oh, facts. 100%. Jeez. Salivating over the fantasies that will never happen.
Yeah. What if, dude, I wonder how much y'all would have to give up for Jimmy Butler. Like, I know Miami would not trade him, but there is a price, and that would be like the guy. Like that would fucking help Dame so much.
That would definitely help the Portland Trail Blazers a ton. My question is, I don't know if Stotts is the problem. Like a lot of people are pointing at Terry Stotts right now, saying that he might be the issue of why they like losing the playoffs. But I feel like the Portland Trail Blazers, I feel that they've only underachieved once. That was whenever they played against the Pelicans because people look at them as being the higher seed. But if you actually watch the games and actually what happened, Portland was dealing with a ton of injury. Obviously, they've always had problems defending. They cannot defend a big man. Anthony Davis, the best big man in the league at the time, basically, or a top three at least. Drew Holiday, the best defending guard. So they had a guy that was fantastic on defense guarding Dame. And then they were just sending doubles and triples at him. So what happened in the series was supposed to happen. But I feel like the Portland Trail Blazers, they pretty much overachieved for what their roster is. I'm not sure if Terry Stotts is the guy. People may blame him for the defensive issue. And if Jimmy goes and that is the issue, I think that would definitely, cause some eruptions in practice. They're not like playing hard on defense and stuff.
Yeah, I like Terry Stotts. I really do. And they have been like before last year, which was just a collapse of injuries. They were like always a 3 or 4 seed. And then like they made a conference finals, and then they always at least make it to the second round. They beat a couple teams every year. It's like they're winning a playoff series. They're doing something. And then last year they're dead. They are completely dead. Their whole team dies. They get like most of them back. They have a crazy run in the bubble. They have to play in a play-in game, and then they play the 1 seed Lakers. They win game 1, and they're just done. That was it. They couldn't beat us after that, but like they were dead tired. Like Nurkic has never been healthy for a 15-game stretch, and he was balling, and then he
Right.
got worn out. Like he got worn out, and like that's not on the coach. Like they did everything they had to do to get in. Now they were given a nice break, and everything worked out for them to do that. But they did that, and I don't think it's Terry Scott's fault that they lost to the defending champs, and then the year before that they lost to like the Warriors, who I
People
think
say
would've,
without KD.
yeah,
What team were they before KD came?
Did they win 73 games without KD? Or did I
Oh,
just
that's
dream
crazy.
that? Okay,
That's
my bad.
crazy.
Yeah. Did Steph miss in that series? No. But that team was gonna beat. That team was gonna beat the Raptors. The Raptors, not the Raptors. They were gonna beat the Raptors if Klay doesn't tear his ACL dunking the basketball. Like even take out KD, I think they win that series. So you're telling me the team that would have won the NBA Finals, like you're supposed to just beat them? Harden and Chris Paul couldn't beat them. Like maybe Terry Stotts isn't the NBA champion coach that I'm sure people want him to be, but I don't think he's a bad coach, and I think he's at worst a league average coach. And I don't think you fire that guy.
Yeah, but at the same time, like some teams, I guess they need a shaking up. Like, for example, with Toronto, I don't think that it was Dwayne Casey's fault. Now, whenever their new coach, help me on his name real fast, Nick Nurse. Whenever Nick Nurse came in, people said that his offensive schemes were fantastic, like his rotations. He completely changed it, made them better. But I'm not sure they don't win that championship if Kawhi comes, and they probably don't win it if LeBron stays in the East. So
No.
It was kind of just like a perfect storm as far as whenever you fire your coach who was doing really good and you actually end up winning the championship. I mean, it was just kind of like a perfect storm of events to happen for that to happen. It wasn't just Nick Nurse taking over the team and then y'all win the championship.
Right, because where are the Raptors at today? Like,
yeah. Let's find them. Let's see, the bottom of in the East. Like a 12 spot.
And I do think Nick Nurse is a good coach. Like he's a really good coach, and maybe he fit the Raptors better. But that is something like coaching matters, but it's also coaching fit matters. Like for instance, the Lakers have Frank Vogel as a coach. Do I think Frank Vogel is a great coach? No. But do I think Frank Vogel is a great coach for the Lakers with this big team and a defensive scheme? Yes, I think he's a great coach. But like, it's something has to be said with just fit right there.
100%. All right, so moving on. So I did a Eastern write-off teams. Zach and I are going to do the Western team write-off. So currently at the bottom of the West, you got the Rockets at the 15 seed, Thunder 14, TWolves 13, Kings 12. Now, we'll start off with this team because this team still can make it, but I think that they're done. The Pelicans, they're at 11. Zach, are they going to get into the playoffs? Because I don't think they have much of a chance. I think they're done. Pooh.
If I had to bet on it, no. Like I think they have a 10% chance. Like I think there's a 10% chance the Spurs just don't give a fuck about it and Pelicans go crazy. Maybe Ingram comes back and they just go berserk, but probably not. So yeah, they're a write-off team. We gotta look at them in the ways of that.
Indeed. Dude, so we went back and found our standings. We have our standings for the Western Conference. And just to compare it to what we have right now. So the 15th spot for Zach's list, he had Oklahoma City, Timberwolves, then the Spurs at 13, the Grizzlies at 12, the Kings at 11, Pelicans at 10, Rockets at 9. Those are basically the teams that are at the bottom other than the Grizzlies. Just like a different thing. You had the Rockets at 9. Obviously, we saw what happened to them. They're all the way at the bottom. I had OKC at 15, TWolves. Oh, Houston at 14. I said they could be in between like the 10 and the 15, depending on like what happened with James Harden. It was hard to predict that. We didn't know if he was actually going to get traded or not.
Right.
T-Wolves at 13. They're at 13. I think you had them at 14. Kings at 11. We both got that. Oh, no. Kings are at 12 right now. We'll see if they can move up to 11. And then we weren't that high on the Pelicans. So I had the Pelicans at 9. You had them at 10, just right in there. But yeah, no, I think safe to say that they will be a disappointment. A team that they created the play-in tournament for them, gave them the easiest schedule in the play-in tournament. I think they won, 2 games out of the 8?
Yeah.
Lonzo shit the bed. Zion didn't play great. They just didn't do anything. And then they went out and fired their coach, got Stan Van Gundy, and has that helped any?
Probably not. I think they got the second most national televised games this year, and they didn't do anything. And they're out of the playoffs again. It's that the team was like so bad early in the year, and then like they got hot for a minute, and it was like, wait a minute, this is what they're supposed to be, and then it ended, and it was just like, all right, we're back to what we do. We're just gonna fuck up late game situations. We're gonna score a lot of points. We're gonna put up numbers, and we're gonna lose the close games.
Yep, blow them out like a candle.
Yeah.
But enough of them. We'll talk more about them later on. Let's start at the bottom. The Rockets. Obviously, there's no redeeming this year. Next year, any redemption for this team?
No, this team's fucking hopeless. Like this team fucking stinks. I love Christian Wood. I really do. And like if Christian Wood doesn't get healthy, like maybe they compete for a little bit and make this thing, but their future is Christian Wood and no one else. I don't know. They're gonna have a chance to get the number 1 pick, but knowing their luck, they'll probably get the number 9 pick, and then they'll trade it and get nothing in return. And dude, they fucking stink. Everyone in Houston, the Texans, the Rockets, they all fucking just everything blows up in their face. I mean, the Astros, when they do well, they have to cheat to do it. So Houston just, I don't know, that maybe the city is just too warm. I don't know, but no, this team has no hope, no future. I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Houston sports might be like the Atlanta sports of the West. Like I actually say Atlanta sports must be cursed. Like they get some good talent, bro, but they just can't seem to get over the hump in their teams. I mean, imagine some of the crumbles, the debacles that we've seen some of the Atlanta teams have, like how good they would do in the regular season or something, and then playoffs come and just up in smoke. Seems like the curse has been blown over to Houston. It's went out west. John Wall, decent numbers this year. I guess like he scored 20 points, 7 assists, but these are mostly empty numbers. I mean, it definitely didn't contribute to winning. What, they lose like 15 games in a row?
It might have been more. And dude, I feel like it's every other night when he was playing, I would just look at his stats and he'd be like 9 for 27. And like this is not a dude who's shooting like 10 threes a night. Like he's shooting mid-range jumpers, he's driving to the basket. It's like if you're like taking it to the hole and you're not shooting 45%, like what is going on there? Like this shit. I feel bad, but you get hurt twice and you use your athleticism to score and you lose just 10% of it, you're a whole different player.
It's different. It is so different. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So beginning of the year, we knew about the rumors of James Harden wanting to get traded, wanting to go to Brooklyn or maybe the 76ers. Who would have thought? If I would have told you, what would you have done? If I would have told you that James Harden would get traded from the Houston Rockets, but in return, the Rockets would ultimately, this is what they get. Kelly Olynyk and who is the other person that they got? Avery Bradley. They got Karis LeVert in the trade, but then they traded him for Victor Oladipo, who ended up going to Miami. So ultimately, they got a couple of picks and Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley.
That it is
How?
so terrible.
Is that the worst trade in history?
I mean, no, because there's been some trades that have just they've been gifts. This we were talking about this. We were like, all right, okay. So the Nets. Everyone knew the Nets wanted them. Like everyone was like, dude, the Nets are gonna have to overpay because they're the only team that's like, we're gonna go out and get James Harden. You're like, okay, well, they have Karis LeVert, like a young, up and coming, really good player. They have Spencer Dinwiddie, same thing. Okay, so you want both of them. Then you want like 3-4 draft picks. You want like Joe Harris. You want this dude. You want this dude. Everything, whatever you want, go for it. So I mean, like their big fish they got was like a couple draft picks and LeVert. And then you're like, okay, but then they were like, wait a minute, we can actually get Victor Oladipo for LeVert. So you're like, okay, so you view Victor Oladipo as better than LeVert. And maybe 2 years ago, yes, that's the case, but I don't think anyone else did at that point. And then you go do that. Vic doesn't work and you trade him for a hot dog can. Dude, I mean, Kelly Olynyk has been playing great. He really has.
Yeah, no, he's decent.
It doesn't matter. Like he's not even part of your future. He's not part of you don't have a present. Like it is just a fucking awful trade. Like the series of trades that lets you, like, you gave up James Harden for that. Like if James Harden wasn't playing, but he was still on your team, it's better. If he's sitting, let him get fat. He still would help your team more than I just feed him. Keep feeding him. I don't care if he gains 100 pounds. He's better than the haul they just got for that dude.
100%. That's just disgusting. Moving on to the 14th spot in the West. So this is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, OKC about halfway through the season, they might not have been 500, but they were somewhere around there. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he gets hurt, and then they basically just tank it because that's what I feel they were trying to do.
They were.
Exactly. And I think that they were succeeding in that, but I think that they do have a future. They got some nice young talent on that team with Shai, and they have this foreign player. I wish I could, let me see. OKC roster. Tell me what you think about OKC while I find this dude's name. He's a foreigner, but the man kind of nice, long, lanky.
Yeah, they definitely have the best future just because all the draft picks they've compiled. And then you got a guy like Shai. So Shai's an up-and-coming star. And then, I mean, they have every chance they get to flip anybody for a draft pick, they're going for it. Now, I don't know if that's like the best move, but it at least gives you the opportunity to make a bunch of moves, move up and down in every draft, and just do whatever you want. Like, do what you want to do to build a up-and-coming team. So yeah, they have a lot of potential, but you still have to make the draft picks, and you got to hit on players. Like we've seen a team like the Timberwolves. Like they hit on Cat, they kind of hit on Wiggins, and then like they had a couple more pieces, and then they flipped them for Jimmy, and it just didn't work out. Like everything was just supposed to hit, and it just didn't go. So like I'm kind of scared that they're gonna be this young up and coming team for like 10 years, to where it's like, when are we actually going to see the benefits of this? But I mean, they could do something similar to what we saw the Celtics do. Like they could end up with 3 just really good players and be back in it in the next 3 years.
Yeah, I feel like that they aren't that far from it. His name is Alexei Pokusevski. He is from Serbia, 7 feet tall, skinny as all get out, only 190 pounds. But he's pretty creative with the ball, can knock down shots in transition. I like him. Of course, they got Lou Dort They have,
Goat.
of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then they got my dude, Klay Thompson Jr. in the making, Svi McCollum. Let's see if he actually pans out. He'll be a great player for him.
How are you still on the speed train, man? I don't even.
I'm on Speed Island, bro.
I don't know how that's.
I don't know how that's.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's not a train because that hoe has no conductor. Absolutely none.
I'm on the Speed Island. Don't worry, a few years from now, bro, whenever Speed McCollum gets cold, bro,
retires,
y'all gonna be like, y'all gonna be like, Gabe was the only dude on that island. I'm rolling with him.
Literally, I'm gonna get an alert that Steve McCollum retires, and he's gonna have a press conference, and there's not actually gonna be a press conference because it's gonna be an email to Gabe.
Oh, yeah.
Hey man,
thanks. I've been supporting you, bro.
Thanks for being my one supporter, but I gotta pursue a career in accounting.
Yeah, man. But no, I think that they got some pieces. Their coach, Prince Vegeta. What is their coach names?
We don't know.
My boy. Nah,
it might be the one coach I don't know, and I don't think it really matters.
We know the coach. Oh, actually, no, you're right. No, they fired him. Yeah, Mark Diagonal. Whatever. Okay, we're moving on. Sam Presti, one of the best GMs in the league, though. He'll always make sure that something happens. He's awesome.
And make sure to lose it. Oh,
yeah. Well, that does have a tendency to
happen. Let me just say these names real quick. All right,
go for it. List them.
James Harden, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, Victor Oladipo. Where are they at?
Paul George,
Russell Westbrook again, basically. Where are they at? Seriously.
Not on OKC.
Are any of them on OKC?
Nope, not one.
Would you consider any of those players still good?
Very.
Okay. I just wondered.
No, very good. Yeah, well, that sucks for them. But Sam Presti, he'll float it. Let's hit the team.
And
what's up?
I mean, he's not like as good, but like Tobias Harris too. Like,
yeah,
like this is just more people that are like, all right, well, let him go.
Have a nice little stop by. They still got Al Horford, man. They got Al.
No, they don't.
He's the Embiid stopper.
He's not even on the team. They don't play him. They said him. They're not playing the rest of the year. He was balling.
There it is.
He was legit too
much.
Good for them. Yeah, they're like, dude, you have too much of a positive impact. We got to get you out of here, bro.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't be cold on NBA teams, bro. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for a dude that can help fill up baskets.
It really is insane. Like there's some guys on rosters that I'm just like, he's on a roster, but it's like, all right, but like you'll see just like these kind of good players get bought out, and you're like, dude, what the fuck happened here?
All right, moving on. The next team up, the Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Is Anthony Edwards the rookie of the year?
No. I think it's still
no. Really?
I think it's now, dude. Now, if you're asking me who I think is gonna be better, I might say Anthony Edwards. I might do it. I really might. But rookie of the year. If I'm gonna go out there and say Zion was close, but like I'm gonna give it to Ja like last year, but like Melo came back. I think Melo's played enough games to where it's like, all right, you can see his impact, and he's what has he played 45, 50 games? Like It's not like he played like 27, 28. I think you got to go with him. Just when he's healthy, he was clearly the guy, and Edwards, he didn't start off slow. Like he just kind of didn't start off like crazy hot, and then he was coming off the bench. Then now you're seeing it. But yeah, I think it's still LaMelo.
Yeah, I believe so. I think
I will go ahead and say it. Like I'll take Anthony Edwards over LaMelo Ball. Like right now, I would rather have Anthony Edwards.
Now that's high praises. I don't know if I'd go that far, but definitely Rookie of the Year. I think LaMelo Ball has done enough to win Rookie of the Year. We're not here to talk about LaMelo Ball right now, but Anthony
Yeah.
Edwards, this dude is a baller. This man might be, let's see, at his worst, I guess, like he could be Dion Waiters-esque at the worst. I think he's going to be more closer to a D Wade.
Yep.
And that's what
Yes,
we would love to
sir.
see. If he can
That's
keep
what
his
we want to see.
Yes, sir. If we can keep his motor up, play some good defense, but keep trending upward on offense, I think he's only shooting like 42-ish% from the field, but he has a smooth jumper, dude. You see his jumper? Like
oh
that,
my God.
like it's kind of pretty, man. Pretty.
No. It's not kind of pretty. It's fucking beautiful. That's I literally
Man.
first time watching him play it, I was like, all right, I don't care if he misses. He's fun to watch shoot. There's not many guys that you're like, holy shit, that's a pretty ass jumper. It's like a lefty in baseball. Just sometimes their swing just is so fucking beautiful. You're like, oh my, that shit's nice. That shit is nice. And hey, it's going in lately. So
Exactly.
when a guy with a pretty jumper starts hitting shots, it's tough to stop because that dude's gonna get fucking confident, and it's supposed to go in. Like early in his college, like some of these shots just aren't going in, but like that shit's gonna hit, and once he figures it out, done.
Now, 100%. So they are. What would you scale their future towards? I guess on a rating 1 to 10, 1 being bad, 10 being the best. With what they have now, I'll say next year, give me your next year rating, and then give me your 5-year rating with what based on what they have now.
God. It depends on with Cat. Like, is he gonna stay? Is he not? Are we saying like next year, like how are they doing scale, or like their future based on next year?
Their future based on next year. Is it looking brighter or is it looking lesser? We'll say 5 is the midway point. 5 and under is kind of bad, but like some more success, some more wins.
I think their future.
Better.
I think their future, like their long-term future, is a 4. I think their long-term future is a 4. I think next year they will look better. I don't know what rank. I don't know how to rank that. That's confusing me. I think they'll be better than they are. I think they're gonna show some more promise. So like I'll say 6 for next year. Long-term future. I don't know if Cat's staying. And I love what I've seen from Anthony Edwards, but he does play on the Timberwolves, and things just seem to go wrong. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it happens. And like, I love D'Angelo Russell. He's on the team and he's coming off the bench right now, and they're winning some games right now. So it's like, all right, maybe, but the West is so good. Like we're looking at, and like these teams we're talking about writing off. Yeah, like I think they have a better future than most of them. But of the teams that are in the playoffs, they're right now and their futures are bright as shit. Like it's not like we're looking at teams where it's like, oh, that team's the 7 seed, but like their team's like really old and just things don't know. It's like every team in the playoffs are like, okay, I can see it. Maybe the Spurs, but that's it. Like that's the
Clippers
only team.
as well. I think that they can crumble fast. But we'll get into that.
They could. I don't think they will. But you're right. They could. I don't see it happening. But like, are you gonna go? All right, yeah, Anthony Edwards and Cat, they're gonna somehow be better than the Clippers next year? I don't think so.
So, yeah, no, I'm with that. I think that their next year will be a bit better than this year, as far as winning, getting far in the playoffs or something, or even getting into the playoffs. That's a high roller, high odds, man. You make a lot of money if you bet on that and it hit. But as far as long term, the Minnesota Timberwolves team tend to be one of those cursed franchises. Things just don't seem to go right. But if Cat stays, if Edwards stays, if they move D'Angelo Russell again, it seems like he's becoming a journeyman to no fault of his own. I don't think that he's been playing necessarily bad anywhere. It just so happened is he's a good trade piece. Apparently, he's a blue chip. So I think they'll be fine. I do like what the Timberwolves are doing. We'll see how they end up in the future. The Kings.
All right, no, what's your
what's up?
out of 10 long-term thing out of the Timberwolves?
Long-term, Cat leaves. Anthony Edwards leaves. I'm giving them a 2. Anthony Edwards is a city boy. That man is not finna stay in Minnesota. I would make bets on Anthony Edwards leaving that city. And yeah, Cat will probably leave too. I mean, he had enough time there. He's like, I want to win. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, Kings.
Kings. Dude, this team, other than the Suns, they've probably been the team that was most on like just the precipice of making the playoffs and just not being there for like a consistent amount of years. Yeah, they fluctuate down, but they've had constant years where they were just right there at 500 or something, and the West was just too good for them to get in. Now that there are 10 spots, this gives them more of a chance.
To almost make it.
Yes, but there are some moves that they made, right? Literally a better chance to just almost make it. Because some of their moves I just don't understand. They lost Bogdanovich, right, to Atlanta for nothing. Nothing. Like, why would you do that?
They had something with the Bucks and that shit got messed up, but then they eventually they just like eventually were like, all right, we're gonna give him away for nothing for the Hawks. Yeah. I don't get it.
He's a really good player. You sign him.
Yeah.
They've hit on some draft picks, of course. De'Aaron Fox. I'm not sure if you call Buddy Hield a hit because I mean he's hitting some threes. He's not a superstar by any means, but he's a solid player. Would you call Buddy Hield a bust? Is Buddy Hield a bust?
Buddy Hield is not a bust, but he's also not a. He hit. He's a role player. He was picked like top 10, but like he was a senior breakout in college. Like you kind of like, this dude's polished, and he came in the league. He was polished. He was pretty good, and then he had like a couple seasons where you're like, wait a minute, maybe we could get some superstar type action, and then just kind of fell off. It's a hit, but it's just obviously not the hit they needed. Can we talk about this? De'Aaron Fox is averaging 25 and 7 this year, and no one's talking about it. Like this dude is so fucking good, and it kills me that he's on the Kings. It kills me. This dude is so slept on, and it's rightfully so because just no one's going to watch his games. There's no one. Why would you watch the Kings game? Why? Why would you do that? Just to
see
watch
him lose.
De'Aaron Fox. That's it. To watch De'Aaron Fox hit some crazy shot. Luke Walton call a timeout. They figure out a game-winning play, and they lose. And it's like, damn. Harrison Barnes hasn't been bad for him. Bagley just does not seem to be it. He'll have a game here or there, and you're like, wait a minute, maybe we could bench Snow. He'll have a game where he goes like 4-2.
Do you think Bagley might be a guy where if he goes to a different team, now we know that he's been dealing with injuries, but if he stays healthy, if he's on a different team, he's a different player? Because you see that sometimes. But you think he's done?
I don't think he's done. When he came out, I was like, the guy can rebound pretty good for a college player. That was it. Like really all I saw. I was like, all right, this dude's just kind of a guy. He plays hard. He's kind of athletic. I think he's a role player. Like I think he's like an Ed Davis type player. Like someone who like comes off the bench, maybe can play 28 minutes, be a solid backup big man, or even a starting big man, just wear like an Enes Kanter type, like one of those kind of guys, be a solid player. I don't think he's getting more than that.
Well, Bagley, I had some high hopes for him coming out of college. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He was in the Luka Trae Young draft, and he was one of
Jaren Jackson too.
Jaren Jackson, yeah. But I didn't know much about Jackson at the time, but I knew Luka was going to be good. I knew Trae Young was going to be good. I hit on 2 out of the 3 because I thought that I knew Bagley. Oh, and Colin Sexton was in there. I knew Colin Sexton would be really good. I thought Bagley was going to be good, but nah,
That
it
was
doesn't look
Aiden too.
like it.
That was Aiden. Aiden's draft too, right?
Aiden. I knew Aiden would be pretty good, but I didn't really watch a ton of Aiden. But certain guys I did. I knew that they'd be pretty good. But man,
I used to love watching Arizona with Aiden, man. I
yeah.
love that fucking team. That he kind of hasn't completely turned out to what he's supposed to be, but some nights he is. But in college, bro, that too was a fucking monster.
When he averaging like 18 points, like 11-ish rebounds, a
Something
couple
like that.
blocks.
He was going crazy, man. His shit was like it was kind of like how Jahlil Okafor was on the Duke. It was like an actual natural big man with like good footwork, and it was like, oh, okay, I like this. But
yeah,
I like big men for some reason.
Big men, they have pretty games if they know how to work it, bro. They got some good footwork. Obviously the game of basketball is made for big men. You know, like big men historically dominate. It's only been recent that forwards have been dominating, and maybe that's because there is a lack of super duper talented big men. I mean, we have a few, but everything has to fall into the right spot for things to happen, of course.
But now we're seeing the game is guard centric, but Jokic, Embiid, Anthony Davis, like 3 top 6, 7 players in the league. So you could say it's guard centric, but I see 3 insanely talented big men who work absolutely dominating. So hey, I'm all for that.
No, absolutely. To the Kings, their future, how we looking? Will they?
It's a 0. It's a 0. They don't have a future. Here, my bad. It's a 1 because the Rockets is a 0. So it's a 1.
Right.
They have De'Aaron Fox, and if somehow they hit on a draft pick that's a wing that can fit with De'Aaron Fox and can be as good, if not better than De'Aaron Fox, maybe you have something. If you have Buddy Hield as your 4th best player, but is that going to happen? Probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe here's what they need to do. The Timberwolves stink. The Kings stink. They just need to combine teams. Just get De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, Cat, and D'Angelo Russell, just all Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, just completely combine teams, and you'd have a pretty good basketball team.
It would be a nice little 7-man roster, bro. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. All right. I guess last thing, if we rank these write-off teams, so Rockets, Thunder, Timberwolves, Kings, Pelicans, if we rank them as far as, I guess, do we want to do next year or we'll do next year because all we can see is next year. All right. Based off what their teams are now, who do we think has the brightest future in the next 3 years? Because that's not too far. 5 years, that's an eternity in basketball. 3 years is a long time, but still most teams stay together over 3 years. Next 3 years, who do you think has the best outcomes, I guess, the best, brightest futures? Those
I think
5. Rank them.
I think it's clearly Pelicans 1. They have so much talent. And then I'm gonna go TWolves 2. I'll go Kings 3.
Ooh.
And then Thunder 4, Rockets 5.
Oh, okay. I would go Pelicans 1. That's pretty obvious. Zion, Brandon Ingram. As long as you can't really mess it up. I mean, you can. Obviously, they're doing it now, but, they'll get better. Can't really mess it up. Pelicans 1. I would go Thunder 2 because I think that they have 20-something picks over the next few years. Yeah, they might not hit on those, but if they miss on all those, that's just the worst luck in the world. Sorry. That just sucks. And then they have, of course, they have Shy and Lou Dort and an excellent GM. They'll figure everything else out from there. And I say them at 2 because I think that they have a chance to actually get a star. TWolves, they have the stars. That's who I would put at 3, but I don't think they'll go any farther with their winning. Kings, they would be 4 because they have a star in De'Aaron Fox. I don't think that they'll go anywhere with winning. And Rockets, they're done. You're right. They're 0. They're done.
Yeah.
For
There's
a while.
no hope. They I don't even know what to. I get what you're saying about the Thunder, and if we're saying 5 years, yes, but if we're saying like next 3, it's yes, they're gonna have draft picks, but I feel like they're gonna keep doing this. They're gonna keep getting players and trying to get more draft picks and kind of try to get younger until it's like insane, until it's just they have everything. Like I don't think they're like, all right, we're gonna try to start it next year. Like that thing, they're like, hey, let's try to win in like 8 years. I don't understand why they keep trying. Like, it seems like everybody in the NBA is like, hey, we're going to push all our chips in to win now. And the Thunder's like, all right, we're going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to put all the chips 5 miles down the road. And hopefully we get there. And if we beat all these viruses that keep coming, then we get there and maybe everything can kind of work out. And I hope there's not some super team to beat us. Like, dude, like, yes, you got to plan for your future, but like
You gotta
the
make some
present,
moves.
the present's still more important. Like that's just you gotta think winning today is better than winning tomorrow. Now, if you can guarantee that you're gonna win more tomorrow than you would today, sure. But you can't guarantee that. Like you gotta be like present seeking as while you're being future seeking.
Yeah, no, I agree. Unfortunately for them, you may be right. They might just be a team that just keeps on trying to gather piece after piece after piece. But eventually, you're going to have to move some of these pieces. I think that if they get a really good guy in the draft, in like this upcoming draft or maybe the draft after that, get a guy like that and develop them, then they can start moving pieces. But I think Presti looks at the lay of the land in the league, and as long as you got LeBron doing his thing with a guy, as long as you got a KD on the other side, but more specifically like a Bron, like a super team, team, somebody that's not going to be overtaken, you might as well lay back and lick your wounds until you can do something. But guess what? There's always going to be a super team. There's always going to be somebody like that.
That's what I'm saying. See, in football, the Thunder would be amazing because like you have to have like 35 really good players on your team to like put you anywhere, and they would have it. They would have all the depth. They would have a bunch of young assets. Everything would work out. But like in basketball, what do you need? Like we're looking at the Lakers, and why are they good? It's because they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They have 2 superstars, and yes, they have really other good players, but like you can fit in players here and there. And once your team's good, people want to come play with you. They're going to take discounts. You're going to be able to make trades. The Thunder can get that if they just get like 2 superstars. That's what you want. Like whatever they say, they can say we want this many guys. It's like 7 like above average players on an NBA team doesn't win you anything. Like it sounds nice, but like you're going to eventually have to like start overpaying these guys that are good but not great. And with the salary cap, if I'm paying AD $33 million and you're paying like Victor Oladipo $33 million, it's not fair. Yes, if the salary cap was like crazy higher and we had to pay what AD's actually worth or what LeBron's actually worth, then yeah, you could say that. But if you're getting a max contract, if you're like a top 20 player and I'm getting a max contract with the best player, it's not fair.
Yeah, you lose. But that is the case. I guess kind of speaking towards that, Charles Barkley and Shaq, they had like a little argument because Shaq was talking about, oh, you don't win without the others. And Charles was like, every team that wins has the best players on the team. And he was like, oh, what about like Detroit? He was like, bruh, that's like an anomaly. Like it was an anomaly. That does not often happen. Most of the time you have a LeBron and D Wade. They're 2 of the top 10 at worst, top 5 players at the time. Kobe and Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol was a top 15 player at the time. obviously you saw what KD did whenever he went to Golden State. You could have said Steph and Clay were top players at the time. And on through history, Jordan Pippen,
Yeah.
Magic, Kareem, Bird, McHale. You have the best players.
Yeah,
Shaq and
MJ
Kobe.
throughout MJ's whole career, he won and he retired, and Hakeem was the second best player and he won. Like
Yeah.
it just seems to happen. Bird won and Magic won. And yes, there were 2 years where the Detroit Pistons won. Congrats, it happened. But like that wasn't a dynasty. That was in 2 years, and that was in a whole new NBA where it was basically football. Like it was just a whole different thing. Yes, you had Dirk win in 2011, but like that was because the other super team just kind of fell apart. And then eventually it happened. And yes, the Spurs won a couple times where maybe they didn't have the best player, but they had a guy who was one of the best players in the league for 20 years. And they
Literally
had a
won
bunch of other players. Yeah. So like they didn't have the best, but he was a top 10 player of all time. So it's like, all right, yeah, you can win with that. But you can't win without that. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yep. 100%. But yeah, no, that's all we have for the episode. Oh, you got something? Talk to me.
Russell Westbrook. Didn't he just didn't just tie Oscar Robertson for most triple doubles ever? Got the game sealing block. Fucking this dude. We've seen a bunch of good players. We've been able to see LeBron, KD, Kobe, Melo, all these guys' career and all this stuff. Russell Westbrook. It has been awesome to be able to see him play right now. Like this is just an awesome thing that we're in 30 years. Someone's gonna say, like, dude, how was Westbrook? Like, he's gonna be the Wilt Chamberlain kind of thing. It's like, dude, what was he actually doing this? Like, was he putting up these stats? Was every night he just doing something different? That was just great. I love that dude, and I don't know how anyone doesn't like the dude. Dude plays fucking hard as hell. He puts his heart into. He literally tries to win. That's all he tries to do. Yes, he puts up good stats, and there was occasional where it's like, oh, he's padding a stat for getting a rebound. He was padding a stat to get a rebound so he could get his ass up the court and score the basketball. Like he was trying to win, and I just love watching that dude play. So I'm always happy when he succeeds.
Dude, I'm with it. It has been an honor to watch Russell Westbrook. We never, ever, two things that we thought we'd never see. We thought we'd never see somebody break the 72-10 Bulls record. And we definitely thought, I think even harder, we never thought we'd see somebody average a triple-double in a season. No way. I couldn't fathom it. This man has done it for like the last 4 seasons.
Yeah. And he's gonna like
it's insane.
Like it's like 181 triple doubles. And how many more is he gonna get?
Right.
Like
more.
It's just I know it's easier to get triple doubles now, but Russell Westbrook said it best. If it was so easy, then everyone would do it. No one's doing it. It's just Russell Westbrook.
Yep. 100%. Sam Presti, how you feeling?
I will say he loved Westbrook more than anybody. So we can't.
100%. Oh man, but yeah, no, it has been an honor to watch Westbrook. I guess one more thing. We're gonna get into some All NBA eventually down the road. We'll get into some All NBA at the end of the season. But Bradley Beal probably gonna lead the league in scoring. Maybe Steph. Steph might come get it, but he's gonna be top 2, guaranteed. But if he does lead the league in scoring, what about him not even making an All NBA team? It's possible.
It's probably going to happen because we saw this dude put up those insane numbers and not even make the All-Star team last year. So the disrespect is just, it's going to be the case. And then you play on a team with Russell Westbrook, like there's going to be just that said, and they're winning now, but they weren't in the beginning. So like a lot of those points were just in games where it didn't matter. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Especially with this year, with all the injuries and all the COVID things, it's like, how do you actually value NBA? Like, how do you value your team?
No, definitely. All right. Well, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. You can check us out on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube. at the GaZcast, and of course on Twitter at GZcast. You can hit us up on Twitter, Gabe the Captain, or Young Zebo. What's your Twitter? Is that?
I think it's Zebo2424.
Yeah, the 2424. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, thank you for listening. We appreciate y'all. Hit us up, engage, we'll talk, and we will see you soon. We got a lot of content coming up this week. In the next few weeks, NBA playoffs are about to start, so of course we're gonna stay on top of that. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Peace.
yeah. See y'all.